Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Fear. I'm your host Zishan, and tonight we're diving deep into a chilling tale that perfectly encapsulates the essence of fear and the human psyche. Our story, The Masked Stranger, takes us to the small town of Eldridge, where Halloween isn't just about candy and costumes. Instead, it's a night where a mysterious figure appears, exposing the darkest secrets of its residents. As we follow the journey of four friends who confront their own fears and regrets, we'll uncover the power of facing the truth and the haunting presence of the masked stranger. So, grab your snacks, dim the lights, and let's unravel this spine-tingling story together. Let's get in. Every Halloween, the small town of Eldridge braced itself for a peculiar phenomenon. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the streets filled with the laughter of costumed children, a sense of unease settled over the community. For years, townsfolk had whispered about a figure known only as the Masked Stranger, a mysterious person in a mask who appeared on Halloween night, knowing too much about their victims. The tales began with old Mrs. Hargrove, who swore that the stranger had visited her on the night she lost her husband. Dressed in an eerie, intricately designed mask that obscured all but their piercing eyes, the stranger had stood silently at her doorstep, reciting personal details about her life that no one could have known. It was as if they had crawled into her mind, unearthing her deepest fears and regrets. As the years passed, more stories emerged, each more chilling than the last. A young girl named Lily reported the stranger lurking outside her window, recounting the day her beloved pet had disappeared. A high school boy, Jason, claimed the stranger had whispered his darkest secret as he walked home alone, leaving him trembling in fear. This year, a new group of friends had moved to Eldridge, drawn in by the town's quaint charm and rich history. Zoe, Max, Emma, and Jake were all excited about their first Halloween in Eldridge. They had heard the rumors of the masked stranger, but they brushed it off as mere folklore meant to scare children. "Come on, it's just a story," Jake scoffed as they prepared for a night of trick-or-treating. "What's the worst that could happen?" Despite their bravado, an underlying tension lingered in the air as they donned their costumes. Zoe was a witch, Max was a vampire, Emma went as a ghost, and Jake dressed as a zombie. They ventured into the cool autumn night, laughter echoing as they made their way down the streets adorned with cobwebs and jack-o'-lanterns. As the clock struck 8, a thick fog rolled in, enveloping the town. The atmosphere shifted, and the friends felt an unsettling chill. Unbeknownst to them, the masked stranger was already watching, lurking in the shadows, studying their every move. The friends made their way to an old, abandoned house rumored to be haunted. As they explored its creaking floorboards and peeling wallpaper, a sense of foreboding hung over them. Suddenly the air turned icy, and a figure emerged from the shadows. The masked stranger. The friends froze, their hearts racing. The stranger's mask was a haunting blend of silver and black with intricate designs that seemed to shift and shimmer in the dim light. The eyes behind the mask glimmered with an otherworldly knowledge. "You shouldn't be here," the masked stranger said, their voice echoing through the silence. "This house holds the secrets of your past." Zoe felt a cold sweat break out as the stranger turned their gaze directly on her. "Your grandmother never forgave you for not visiting before she passed away, did she?" The words cut deep, exposing a wound Zoe had tried to bury. Before she could respond, the stranger turned their attention to Max. "And you think no one knows about the incident last summer?" when you let your best friend take the blame for your mistake." Each word was laced with accusation, and Max's face paled as shame washed over him. Emma and Jake exchanged worried glances, realizing they were next. The masked stranger continued, weaving a web of secrets that left them reeling. Each revelation felt like a dagger, piercing through the veneer of their carefree facade. The friends fled the house, adrenaline pumping through their veins. "What just happened?" Emma gasped, struggling to catch her breath. How did they know those things? "They're just messing with us," Jake insisted, though his voice trembled. "Right?" But as they walked through the foggy streets, each friend couldn't shake the feeling that the masked stranger was still watching. They decided to split up, hoping to regroup at Zoe's house. As Zoe made her way home, the fog thickened, and shadows danced in the corners of her vision. She felt the weight of the stranger's words bearing down on her, a relentless reminder of her guilt. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her, quickening her pace in a futile attempt to escape the suffocating dread. She turned a corner and collided with something solid. The masked stranger stood before her, blocking her path. "You can't run from the truth," they said, their voice low and chilling. "It will always find you." Zoe tried to scream, but the words caught in her throat. The stranger stepped closer, their mask reflecting the dim light. "You've buried your pain deep, but it festers like an open wound. Are you ready to face it?" Meanwhile, Max found himself cornered in a dark alley where the masked stranger confronted him once more. "Your friend is suffering because of your choice," they stated, their tone accusatory. "He trusted you and you betrayed him." Max's heart raced. He had thought he could bury his guilt, but the stranger's presence forced him to confront the reality he had been avoiding. "I didn't mean to," he stammered, tears brimming in his eyes. "I thought it was for the best." The stranger's eyes glimmered with understanding. "Redemption begins with honesty. Will you take that step?" Meanwhile, Emma and Jake had made it to Zoe's house, frantically trying to reach their friends. Just as they settled into a moment of false safety, the door creaked open, and the masked stranger stepped inside, their presence chilling the room. "Your secrets have brought you here," they declared, turning their gaze toward Emma. "You hide behind your laughter, but inside you're terrified of being alone." The weight of the truth bore down on Emma, and she felt tears streaming down her cheeks. "I just wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be the outcast again," she confessed. Jake, still reeling from the stranger's previous revelations, found himself speaking up. "We all have things we regret," he said, his voice shaking, "but we can't keep running from them." The masked stranger nodded slowly. "Acknowledging your pain is the first step toward healing. Embrace it, and you will find freedom." As the friends confronted their demons, they began to understand that the masked stranger wasn't just a figure of fear, they were a mirror, reflecting their own insecurities and regrets. Each revelation was an opportunity for growth and redemption. Finally, as the night drew to a close, the masked stranger turned to leave. "Remember, the truth can be a burden, but it also has the power to set you free." With that, the figure melted into the fog, leaving the friends standing together in silence. They felt a sense of relief wash over them, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. As dawn broke over Eldridge, the friends gathered to reflect on the night's events. Each had faced their fears, and while the experience was harrowing, it had brought them closer together. Zoe took a deep breath, looking at her friends. "We can't change the past, but we can learn from it," she said. "Let's promise to support each other moving forward." Max, Emma, and Jake nodded in agreement, united in their commitment to honesty and growth. The masked stranger may have haunted them that Halloween, but their encounter had transformed fear into understanding. And as the sun rose, casting away the shadows of the night, they felt a newfound sense of hope and resilience. The masked stranger had left their mark, but so too had the strength of their friendship. As the years passed, the legend of the masked stranger became a part of Eldridge's lore, a tale told around bonfires and during Halloween gatherings. Some dismissed it as mere superstition, while others regarded it as a rite of passage. But for Zoe, Max, Emma, and Jake, the masked stranger was a reminder of the power of truth and the importance of facing one's fears. Every Halloween they would gather to honor that night, sharing their stories and celebrating their growth, knowing that while the masked stranger may come again, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The end. Thank you for joining me tonight on Beyond the Fear. I hope you enjoyed The Masked Stranger as much as I did. The Masked Stranger isn't just a figure of horror. They symbolize the importance of confronting our past and the liberation that comes from honesty. If you've ever felt the weight of secrets or faced your fears, you know how powerful this journey can be. Be sure to tune in next time, where we'll explore more spine-chilling tales that make us question what lies beneath the surface. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, fear often hides in the shadows of our own minds. Good night.